They can hear you now, Steve. They heard you blowing your nose.
Oh man, that was actually my butthole. But
Oh, oh, TMI, TMI.
well, anyways, so how's everyone doing tonight, or today, or whatever time in the morning? I guess. Good morning.
Good, good. Oh wait. Oh man, we're really gonna have this whole time thing a lot of confusion tonight because it's 6:03 to me.
I know 3 here.
It's 10 a.m. Tuesday. Tuesday.
He's in the future, man.
Oh man.
That's what usually gets me confused. You know, when you say 9 p.m. Monday, for me it's a Tuesday. So I was actually I somehow got confused and I thought it was 10 a.m. Monday for me. And I was here yesterday. And then I realized it's a different day.
Well, we're glad to have you here nonetheless, man. You would have been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, a long while. I just want to warn everybody watching. So where I'm at, I was explaining to these fellows before the show. We usually we go whole winters without snow sometimes, and we've got about 16 to 20 inches right now, and power's out across almost the entire county. So I'm actually at home, which I'm usually not at home when I'm doing this. I'm usually at the shop because it's a little inaccessible right now. So I'm praying that I don't lose power, but just warning everybody now because I'm running the back end, and I hope there's not a vape-pocalypse. Vape-pocalypse. So.
Oh no, you're running. So I'm gonna do a couple of quick shout outs before we get started with everything. We got Keegan in the audience, Robert Riggin. We got Show and Tell Vapes, Carlos Ramirez, Philly Vapes, the one and only, Ashley Brown, Alan Jones, and fictitious character himself,
Shonda.
Duke Nukem Vapes, and Mailman Vapes too. What's up, buddy boy?
Buddy boy.
Buddy boy. Dripped out Nick, and I believe that's it. Sick boy too. Hello.
Oh, and Bill got his internet fixed, but as soon as we went live, it started wanting to do things again.
Hopefully no more Robo Bill.
All right, Steve.
So, Mr. GK, what are your what have you been doing lately without putting a bunch of videos out?
Yeah, I've been quite busy. Actually, I have a lot of stuff sent to me. I've got a Mage RTA Lux. I got the Lux mod right here. I just didn't quite have the time to review the stuff. Actually, I do this part time. I think you guys do it part time as well.
Sure.
Right. And I've been getting really busy recently. There was a time last year where I didn't quite have much work to do. I mean, work just ran by itself, so I had a lot of time to review stuff. But this year, it's pretty busy, man. So yeah, I think I have to really choose what I want to review.
Well, are you excited about anything that you've come back to and seen?
I would like to try the new Billet Box RBA. Right, that's by Haku, and the Noob Box projects. That one looks interesting to me. The rest of it, I don't know. It seems like more of the same single coil RDAs. Yeah. I'm not really excited that much on those things. Pod systems, I'm absolutely. Pod systems is like you've tried one, you've tried everything. You know, it's the same thing. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can suggest something.
Well, you guys I have a suggestion, but does anyone else have one first?
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, what do you think about these? Because these are kind of like, I guess you could use them as some type of pod system. Oh, there's two bills.
Oh, there's two bills.
It's like an 18350, just box. GK.
Sorry. Oh, I was sharing your link on my Facebook. I didn't know you were asking me.
Oh, no problem.
Can you repeat, Christian?
Yeah. Something that's different. I mean, I don't know. It's been out for a little while, but I got my first one today in the mail. It's just an 350 little, mech box, but it's kind of like people use them sort of as pod systems now, where they'll put Nick salts in them, use a mouth to lung, kind of get that little quick hit and be good to go.
Yeah, is that 3D print?
Yes, it's a PA12. It's from a guy in Finland. He makes pretty nice stuff. I got a couple of his regulated devices along with this right here now.
Is that a DNA 75C?
This one is, yeah. 2700 all the way down, 18650.
Cool.
I mean, have you ever tried an 18350 mod?
You know what? I used to have Mac mods for 18350s. I sold them, gave them away. I thought they'll never come back,
Yeah.
And here we are again, back to 18350s. Of course, the batteries are better this time, but I don't have any more 18350 mods. I used to have a Vaponaut Le Petit.
Yeah.
I love that one. I sold it off. I just like I honestly would never have thought that we would be back to 18350s or 18500 batteries for that matter. I thought those were done. I may as well just get rid of them before it becomes completely worthless,
irrelevant.
I don't have any 18350 yet. I might have one if I try the Noob box by Proteus. Yeah. Most of the stuff I have are 18650 or 2700s. I don't even have many 21700s because it's really hard to find batteries over here. 21700s is not so common over here. 2700s you can find, but mostly it's 18650 batteries. So I can't buy batteries like from online. That work. They don't ship to us as well. So I don't have the batteries, and I can't really have a device where it's hard to find the batteries for. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, that's the thing. I always heard that, in the United States, it's really easy to get 2700s, 21700s, but everywhere else it's kind of hard to find those. And that's why a lot of like devices are either 18650 or just dual 18650.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. In here in Malaysia, it's actually it's not so easy to get high-end stuff, right?
Yeah.
As in, like, you don't have any local shop or retailer selling high-end stuff. But there are a few, so I have to buy everything and get it shipped. Just me buying it, not in a group or not in a, not through a reseller or something. So yeah, I make sure that I have the batteries for it, and if I don't have the batteries for it, I just don't get those mods. So 18350s, I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. I'll tell you why. I'm not really a fan of Nick Salt. I mean, yeah, sure, I have 2 bottles right here, but I'm like, what's so great about that? I mean, as Mount Tulang, I used to do Mount Tulang, and I don't do Mount Tulang anymore. So I tried Nick Salts, maybe not the right ones. Not quite impressed by Nick Salt. So that's why I don't have many devices and pod systems for Nick Salts.
So I it's funny because I actually was an anti-pod person, anti-Nick Salt person myself until the Orion came out. And when the Orion came out, that's when I became really interested, because I saw that the pod market was going to come more towards, well, obviously there's still pods being released that still cater to beginners, but when they started releasing pods that were more for hobbyists rather than just, catered for beginners, that's when it started interesting me. So last week we had Seth from Lazy Vapors Box Mods on here, and we got to see his mods. I saw a while back, so I know Steve has one of your mods, but I also saw that you were working on an RDA. Did that happen?
No, that did not happen. I was working on it with Cthulhu mods, right? And it's actually not that easy to design a RDA.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Especially when I don't have the design skills myself. I can't do anything with the 3D software. So what I did was I sketched it out on a piece of paper, and as accurately as I can. And then I gave it to them, and so it was back and forth. It took a really long time, months, and then I got some. They sent to me a couple of prototypes, and it sucked. Like it really sucked. I mean, I thought it would be good, but it sucked. The idea was great, but in reality, is gurgly. The airflow was a bit too tight. And it had some problems, and so I sent it back to them with some suggestions, and then they got kind of busy, and they didn't get back to me for, I don't know, more than a month, right? So it was pretty close, but it didn't quite go through. And looking at the design, I think it would have been a flop. There's only that much you can do with a 22mm single coil RDA. If you don't want it to look like everything else out there, if you have, you want it to have something unique, it's going to be a lot of testing involved. So yeah, that kind of, that kind of didn't take off. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I remember.
Oh, sorry. I know how hard it is. I was working with a company. I went and I was trying to hire someone to do the CAD drawings for me. The guy flaked on me, so I spent an entire week, and I read an entire book on CAD design. I watched a shit ton of YouTube videos. I literally designed this thing in CAD on my own, taught myself how to do CAD. I was really it looks really, really good. I was really proud of myself. Sent it to them. They told me they loved it, and then they disappeared on me. And then he finally hits me back and says, we'll give you a production date estimate or a prototype estimate next week. And so a week later, I hit him back, didn't hear anything. Another week goes by, and now we're going into the Chinese holiday, and then the Chinese. I
had the same problem with that same company, Eric. He messages you back like every other week.
Yeah.
He takes forever to get back to you. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, I know you know. I won't say it until they ultimately fail me, and I know they failed me, but at some point I will say who it was if they do. Anyway, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, it's all right. I think if they do F you over, man, you should definitely put them on blast. But so something I feel like you're passionate about is making mods, and this is one of them, which I got from you a while back, and I think you're really one of the only reviewers I've seen actually make their own box. You know what I mean? And I feel like, is this something you're going to continue to do?
No, it was just a one-time thing. I just wanted to try something, right? So actually, those boxes were CNC'd in Ukraine, I think, right? And there was this guy selling them. Alex. I don't know what's his last name. On Facebook, it's Alex Stabwood, I think. So I think he sells Stabwood blocks, but then he decided to just CNC mods and just sell it to whoever's interested. Yeah. So I had to buy those mods. I think it cost about $70. Some of them cost about $65 from him. It was pretty raw. It just came bare. Nothing, no components, no 510s, no. It came with a door, and the door, did it have magnets? No, I don't think so. It was just a raw CNC'd mod, right? And then I assembled it. I made all the adjustments that is needed. I put in the contacts. I polished it. I treated the wood, and that's what I did. Yeah.
I just wanted to point out that Vapin' Fagan is in the chat, and he is going to let me bum a cigarette, so that is good. ST
Good
Vapes
on ya.
is also in the chat, and I'm sorry, guys, Mike Vapes is not going to be on here tonight.
Hey, while we have a bunch of people in the chat, I do want to say one thing. Mr. Mark Linkus and Matt Carlson, we all know we had a dear friend of the community pass away this past week.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let everybody know they're trying to do a waffle for his family and try and get up some money. So if everybody wants to, there is a Mike Schneider memorial page, and they're going to be waffling off Hadley, serial number 0001. So if anybody's interested in that, head on over there and give a little something, because we all know who he is, we all know what he was about, and he deserves the respect.
I think that's a very big thing to bring up, because he was on the show one time, and I felt like he was a very great person when he was on the show. I didn't know him personally, but just from the times he was on the show, I thought he was a good dude, and it's unfortunate what happened. So,
Honestly, Vapin' Fagan 0001. If I'm not sure, I believe it's in the memorial page for your Cyclone.
We got Robo in the building.
I think I seen Mike Vapes in the chat. So what's up, Mike Vapes? How you doing, man?
I told him, since people are demanding, specifically Fagan, to have Mike on. I told him I sent him a link, but he feels like he's not wanted. So
everybody's welcome here, man.
Going back to Mike real quick, for those of you guys who didn't know, I know Bill was cutting out a little bit there with his rickety ass internet, but Mike ran the charity waffle that the proceeds went to Toys for Tots. He did about 10 grand, raised 10 grand for Toys for Tots. Amazing guy. He's pretty young. He was only in his early 40s, and he passed away unexpectedly a couple weekends ago. And it was really really shocking, really surprising. I had video chatted with him the week before he was going to start doing reviews, and it kind of came out of nowhere. The charity waffle is going to live on. It is going to keep going. He had intended to keep it going, and so they are doing a waffle right now. That's what Bill was talking about, to raise money towards his memorial. And actually, I was hoping we could even take a moment of silence real quick, just like 10 seconds, just kind of out of respect. Thank you, guys. Yeah, unfortunate, sad, unexpected thing. And the Ohmies, Vapor Swaggins, they are going to have the updates on the waffle going on there, and we'll also have updates going on here for the Toys for Tots charity waffle. You'll see that more and more coming up towards the holiday season. So,
well, that's a sad thing, But he brought a lot of good too, so I think that's also something that needs to be definitely remembered, is that he brought a lot of happiness and was trying to bring a lot of happiness to people that didn't have. So it's always a big thing,
That is, yeah. Sorry, that I know it's hard to start conversating after talking about that. Anyway, I think that it's a good thing. I mean, this community, we get a bad rap, right? And I think it's an unfair bad rap. A lot of people in our community do a lot of great things, and a lot of them we'll never hear about. Mike was somebody, fortunately, we will be able to remember the things he did, but there's tons of people in the vape community that every day do great things for people, and we'll never even know that they're doing it. And even the big time reviewers, to Tony, Mike, all those guys, Fagan, they help people off cigarettes, and that's one thing we don't stop and think about. We help, all of us here, we help get people off cigarettes, and that's one important part that doesn't get recognized enough. So,
well, I think it's interesting you bring up the teaching aspect, right? I think when you get into it for the hobbyist part, you kind of forget about getting people off cigarettes. You know, you think about, what am I going to get next? What am I going to review next? But, you know, in the long term, you started it, or at least most people started to help people quit smoking cigarettes. I mean, what about you, GK? Why did you start your channel? And I mean, was it for something similar?
Well, actually, I have my own company, and we do digital marketing. So at that time, I wanted to, you know, test out some stuff, some ideas I had about YouTube. And so I did a few channels. Most of them sucked. Well, and then I thought, you know, I have a few of these vape stuff lying around. Why don't I do a review channel? Well, actually, I didn't want to be a reviewer. I don't even consider myself a reviewer. I review so few stuff. I mean, you guys probably have more stuff than me. I mean, my subscribers have more stuff than me. I wanted to make a channel to educate people about vaping, right? And that's what I tried to do. And I quickly realized that the people watching these videos on YouTube, they know more than me. And so I was like, that's not a good idea. And also I realized that to get views, first, I needed to review stuff, you know. Otherwise, I could do any video I wanted to, and no one would be watching them. So I did some reviews, but I actually like doing those tutorial videos, like, you know, how to build on RDA, or, you know, I had a series about different type of wicking material, organic cotton, Muji, Kendo, those kind of things. Yeah, I kind of like doing more on those tutorial videos, but those videos get very few views. If you look at my channel, I think it's the only channel that I've done so many videos on DIY stuff, like how to make your own mods, you know, how to get a mod 3D printed from Shapeways and assemble it and stuff like that. Those videos take a lot of time, and, you know, just to figure out how to do the mod, that takes me a week, you know, maybe longer if it's a regulated mod. I mean, I had to learn how to solder to do one of those videos, right? And it takes a very long time. So maybe from the time I order it from Shapeways, it gets here, all the parts gets here, a month to do one video.
Damn.
And there's so few views compared to I reviewed a Smog TFE 12 stick print, I think. There's almost 200,000 views on that simple device. It took me like a day to so so yeah, I keep reviewing stuff to get some views, but I don't really consider myself as a reviewer. I wanted to educate people. In fact, the channel was called my channel, if you remember, I don't think anyone's been subscribed from day one. It was called Vape Dummy, right?
I actually remember that. I actually remember
like,
that. Yeah.
The idea was like, you know, vaping 101 for dummies. I just wanted to help people to get off cigarettes. But I quickly realized that the people I needed to reach, the people who was smokers, who I wanted to, you know, get them off cigarettes, they're not watching these YouTube review videos. They're not watching the YouTube videos. You know what I mean? It's only when they have maybe tried or decided to start vaping, and then maybe they start watching some review videos. But the smokers are not watching our videos. I mean, they're just not for whatever reason, right? So yeah, that's my goal with the channel, and I think I will continue to do more tutorial kind of stuff, you know, like basic stuff. So at that time, the channel was called Vape Dummy, but most of the comments I was getting was like, yeah, you are a vape dummy. You know, you don't know what you're talking about. You suck. You know, you sound funny. Your skin looks dirty. And so I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, okay, maybe.
Sounds like you got all the trolls, man.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of trolls in for vaping videos. I mean, overall on YouTube, I've done other YouTube before. There are some trolls, but there are lots of them in the vape community. Is like so many trolls. I'm like, wow, that. So I was like, all right, I don't want to keep getting called a dummy for the rest of my life doing the channel, right? So I changed it to GK Vapes. But GK is actually my initials as Gerald Krishnan, right? First and last name. But I didn't want to put it as GK. I thought that was boring. So I put it as GEEKAY. And then I realized that people were calling me Geek A. A, not GK. So I was like, oh man, what have I done? Fine.
You did that.
I just rolled with it. I don't want to change the channel name again. I was like, what do I call my channel? What do I call my channel? I was like, all right, you have Mike Vapes, you have Zophie Vapes. I'll just put GK Vapes. All right, that's it. Not so creative, I have to say, not so creative. I had some other names, but they were all taken by someone else. So yeah, that's what I have now, you know.
I mean, I think it's a topic we brought up before of how you figured out your name, you know, for your channel. So it's actually, I mean, better than my story. So, you know.
So yeah. So what? You live in a mountain?
Yep. That's what I said. Actually, I said I just live in a mountain by myself. That's me and my mountain, man.
Like a dream.
Nah, it's the state I live in. It's West Virginia, and it's the Mountaineer. It's the mountain state. So it just became Mountaineer. Actually, if you watch my old videos, my original name was Blue and Gold Vapes, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was catchy, I guess. So I thought Mountaineer Vapes was better, you know.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Why did you decide to review like high-end stuff, like, you know?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, and not because you're on the channel, because of I watched you and I watched Todd and I watched Bloody Good Vape, that guy too. But then I was actually going to start my channel with just mainstream stuff. But then I figured I reviewed a product from Blitz Enterprise or Blitz whatever. And I showed them the video. And because my channel wasn't big enough and they're a mainstream company, they didn't like that I pointed out what was wrong with it. So from that point on, I was like, you know what, man, if that's how it's going to be with these companies, then I'm just going to do high-end reviews because at least they appreciate it more. And for the most part, they don't get his butt hurt about telling them what's wrong. Now, some of them do, don't get me wrong, but most of them, I mean, for the most part, will hear you out, you know, and you know, you can talk to the person. You get to know their story, how they started their company. It's not just, oh, we're this big Chinese factory and we just create it so people will buy it on a mass productive scale, you know?
So we have a question in chat from Braden. I'm going to say his last name wrong, so I'm not going to try it. Braden S. will say. He wanted to know, he wanted to know if any of us heard of the LRDA by GeoMods. I know.
I won't give an opinion on an Addy until I have one in my hand. I'd need to try it first. It's kind of hard to say it's good.
I have heard of it. It looks okay.
The deck reminds me a lot of the Shogun, actually, or even the Citadel a little bit. From what I could see, what I saw in pictures, I haven't had one in my hand though. And if it's anything like any of those, it'll be a good RDA. So,
hey Braden, if you want to send me one to put on my 2.1, I am totally down with it.
There he is.
But so, we'd prefer for you to send him new internet first.
So staying on the topic of high end for a second, I know that for the most part, I think you reviewed mostly high end, GK, and I feel like you've stood up to a lot of high end companies that have tried to shut you up and make you not talk. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I think we've had this conversation before. Yeah, where you asked me, if you should review high end stuff. I think it was maybe I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, right?
Yeah, probably about
having
right when I started doing high end. Yeah, I think I asked your opinion.
Yeah, but if you ask me today, I would say I regret reviewing high end stuff. It's really cost me to lose out on a lot of subscribers. I don't. It's just my opinion, but if you look at the high end review channels, they're not growing. They're growing very, very slow.
I get it.
Right? If you look at Todd's reviews, I think he's the best reviewer out there for high end stuff.
Sure.
He has the access to stuff that I've never even heard before, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he does a lot of reviews as well. And his channel is growing very, very slowly. He says that he doesn't care about subscribers, but I think, some part of him must wonder, like, why aren't more views for my videos? For high-end stuff, I think the highest views I've ever gotten for any product, and this was a product where I got in early, so it's like the first batch release, I got the RDA, was like maybe the Haku RDA or the Haku Vena, or maybe even the basic RDA. And I think the max, I was like maybe the first review video on YouTube for that particular product. I would say maybe less than 15,000 views, right? And so these products cost a lot of money. It takes a lot of time for you to hang around the groups and wait for your chance to get one. And then you pay a lot in shipping to get one. And then you review it. And if you ask me today, I would say, yeah, it's just not worth the time to review the high-end stuff. If you want your channel to grow, you know what I mean? Or at least mix it up with regular stuff. I know what you're talking about. Like some companies don't really like that you point out some stuff. But the thing is, it's not so bad with like Chinese companies when they don't like the stuff that you review or whatever it is. You can just explain to them that it's a review, it's not a promotion. And they may get angry with you, and they may not want to send you stuff. But you're just dealing with one person in the company, the marketing, sales manager or something like that. Like a year down the road, that person will be gone. There'll be a new person there, and they would contact you again saying that I want to send you stuff. So it really doesn't matter. I have some companies that just told me that they don't like my reviews because I pointed out that something is leaking. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. There's so many things out there to review. And exactly like a year after that, someone else from the company contacts me again and says that we want to send you some stuff for review. So that is the difference. Whereas with high-end stuff, if they don't like your review, they go all crazy on you, and then they kick you out of their groups, and then their buddies also kick you out of their groups. I'm like, what, man? I joined your group. I bought your product. I waited like a few days. I stayed up late, 3 a.m. to X1 to buy it. I'm doing a review for you.
And you spent $200. Yeah.
That's $200. I'm doing a review for you, free of charge. I'm letting everyone see what your RDA is all about, which is 10 times more than you've ever done. You've only put a picture of your RDA, right? So I've done all those things, and then I clearly say that this is my opinion. And then you want to get upset? Like, what? Yeah. So now for high-end stuff, I have changed the way I review high-end stuff. I only review modders that I want to support.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I don't want to join a group and review something from someone who is a bit, unstable. And
Unhinged.
those guys they would never appreciate what you do, like they always say, oh, you got to support the modders, you got to support the making people who are making stuff. Well, I can turn around and ask them, like, how many YouTubers do you support? Like, do you contribute like to their Patreon account? Do you share?
I'm not going to make any opinions about anybody specific, but I am going to say there's a couple modders out there that have their nose in the air and think their mod is the shit, and they literally just look down on everybody else. They don't support anybody, and they want everybody to support their stuff. So yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, and the truth is, this is what I realized: a lot of them don't want you to review their products.
Yep.
They don't want you to review their stuff. They don't want you to point out anything, even if it's your opinion, and even if it's true. They do not want you to do it. So they're not going to be thankful.
Ryan Modder asked me if I review one of his mods, and he said, but the catch is I'll send you one for free, but please don't say anything bad about the mod. Make sure it's in a good light. And I was like, I can't do that. He goes, well, then I can't use you as a reviewer. It's like, okay. And I've seen other reviewers review his products, but I can't sell into that. I got too much pride.
Yeah. High-end stuff. It's also with a hype, hype in a very close setup, like a secret group. And so, they build up the hype and they sell the stuff. And they don't really want you talking about their products for, Yeah, I understand from their point of view. They want it all to be like, oh, my product is perfect, it's nice and stuff like that. But that's their job. Our job is to review stuff. So if they can live with it, I mean, if you take a look at groups like Proteus projects, right? I did a review of the Squee RDA, the Malu RDA, and then I got contacted by the modder, right? George Sublian, right? And he messaged me on Facebook, and I thought, like, oh shit, this is going to be it. He's going to go all nuts on me. But he was like very, very thankful. It's like, oh, thank you for the review and stuff like that. I said, yeah, okay, sure. Are you going to kick me out of your group? Just get it done with, And he was like, no, we really appreciate. And he shared my videos on his Facebook. In his group, and the same with Ground Cloud Innovations,
Yep.
Low version 2.
XJ is
I pointed out stuff, but they understand what I do, and my job is not to. I'm not there. I don't work for them.
Yeah.
I'm not their promoter. I'm not their sales guy. So they take what they can, right, from me, and at the end of the day, it's 95% good, right? It's like 5%. If I really hit a product so much, I don't even review it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, if I don't like using it, I'm like, what the heck? I don't do a review just to bash the product. So if I review stuff, it means that I like it. But of course, it's just the normal pros and cons, right? So right now, I only want to review stuff from people that I think deserve my support. Those, they would appreciate that you actually reviewed their product. Because fuck me, man, I'm not going to be spending like $200 of my own money and time, and then to be, talked down to, and to be kicked out of the groups or threatened or whatever. Like, fuck.
Well, I'm not gonna. I think so far I haven't had any issues like that, and I mean, I haven't really reviewed. I know a couple people, like a couple products. I remember seeing that they did that to you. I remember. I'll just say it. I mean, DDP, right? Isn't that one of them?
Those people are on my blacklist like forever. DDP Armor. What's the other one? Helic Customs, those they have very bad attitudes, if you ask me personally. You see, anyone can be nice to you as long as you say good stuff about their products. It's when you disagree and then you see their real character or what they're made of. And those people are made of nothing but air. You know what I mean? Sure, they're popular. I don't mind. You know, if people want to bash me, they're popular, but it's a product. It's not perfect. You know, and they don't get that. So, yeah, I've had some issues with those people. But like I said, it's just someone out there with some products. You know, I don't lose anything by not reviewing any of their products, because even if their product is so popular, the max I get, if I'm the only one reviewing it, the max views I get is 10,000, 20,000. It's not worth the time, you know, to go through all that shit. Them, and they want to continue selling with high. I mean, let me ask you, like, if you take the most popular high-end stuff, right? If you take like a Franken skull, for example, you know, outside their little secret Facebook groups, it's almost like they don't exist at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't find any information about them. Maybe they have a website, right? And this is just an example, right? And a lot of high-end stuff as well. It's almost like they don't exist at all. Now, if I were to ask someone outside the vaping community to, you know, to take a look at that, and it would seem to them like it's a scam, like it's a fly-by-night operation, because you have a secret group where, you know, people have to join to buy a product. There are no pictures of it. There's nothing. Maybe people buy based on one picture, and then if you don't like them for whatever reason, you kick them out. Basically, when you kick them out of your group and you only exist inside your group, you are kicking them out of support, whatever it is. Like, you know, yeah, you know, fuck you, and you bought my product, but I don't care, and, you know, you can do whatever you want. To the regular person, a non-vapor, these products seem like fly-by-night operations, like scams, because they don't exist. They almost like don't exist outside their little secret Facebook groups. So it's a bit unique in high-end vaping stuff, the way they do things. Yeah, I probably said more than I should.
Oh, you know, something I've noticed in Eric and Bill, I think maybe just from being on everybody who's on Facebook who buys RDAs and stuff, I feel like it's moving towards the high end is moving more towards affordable, and you get more for what you're paying for. And they're kind of becoming more mainstream high end. And an example of that is this, really. I mean, the Wicked is an example. And it's an $80 RDA, but it has the look and feel of a high end. And I feel like that's what people want now. They don't want to be like everything you just described. I don't think they want to deal with that. And having to hit.
I believe some modders have gotten, you know, these overinflated egos, and it's so fragile that you can't say nothing to them. And I think, you know, in all honesty, for lack of a better term, I think a lot of modders have gotten a little too big for their britches. You know, it's getting to the point where, you know, it's like so exclusive. But between you and I, you know, like Tony and I talked about this, and I said, I'd rather sell 100,000 RDAs at $50 a piece than sell 100 of them at $150 a piece. You know, it's why bother? You know, maximize. You know, it's more quantity. You know, more quantity versus, you know, how high end and how elite you can make your product.
You know, and Gas Mods is a company I like to think of. They've got some problems with their RDAs, but I've liked a lot of their RDAs. And they very much have the high-end feel to them, in my opinion. I know GK's done a lot of Gas Mod stuff, and they're actually the first company who ever sent me anything free of cost for review. I know it's probably because they don't have a lot of people taking them to review, but I mean, the GR1 was the RDA that really got, well, that and the B2K. Those are the two that got me into looking more into high-end stuff, even though the Gas Mods GR1 wasn't high-end cost-wise. The RDAs that were similar to it war high end, the one thing that comes to mind particularly is actually the Skyfall reminds me a lot of the GR1 in a lot of ways. Although you could buy like 100, not literally, but you could buy a lot of GR1s for the same price as the Skyfall. Now, mind you, the Skyfall is obviously a lot better manufactured. The presentation's a lot better. All that. I don't have a Skyfall, so I don't know vape wise how much better it is, but I'm sure it's much better. But it's very similar in conceptual terms. So
honestly, I think the biggest difference between the GR1 and the Skyfall was hype, and that's it. It was all about the hype, because honestly, I mean, even I went out and I got the Prestige RDA, and I love it. But believe it or not, I reached for my basic 1.1 more than I reached for that Prestige. I mean, and to visit back what you said, the B2K honestly was a game changer, and not so much as design wise, but the fact that they included all the caps, the tips, and everything. Dude, that completely changed the game and made it, to where you felt like you had all these accessories rather than having to buy an Addy, get 2 caps with it. Then you got to go visit Never Normal or Nick Ricotta or one of those guys. I believe the B2K was actually Canadian, not Chinese. I'm not definite, though.
It was made in China, but thought up in Canada. But
okay.
I mean, either way, it was still, for the money, it was still a very great value. I believe it was a game changer in some aspects. I think
that's the point I was trying to make is the value.
Fictitious. Sorry, I just want to fictitious. I don't have a Skyfall, so I don't know. I look at the pictures and it looks similar, but I'll take your word that they're not that similar when you have them in person.
Look, okay, so we're talking about, I mean, let me ask you guys. Jay said in the comments that, some things that are made, things made in China can't be high end. I mean, do you believe that? I mean, is that something that you think is true?
Yes and no. I mean, honestly, and I want to address Jay and Alan for what they said. I wasn't saying that the only difference is what I meant when I said hype is I could build a piece of shit RDA. You get the right amount of hype behind it, and I'll fucking charge $200 a piece for those things. It's just, that's the difference.
I would like to say that actually a lot of the RDAs being sold in the high-end vape market are made in China. They are.
Sure.
For a lot of people, if you want to make stuff like precision stuff like an RDA, the only place you can really go to is China, right? So I have to disagree with that, because a lot of I personally know from talking to people that a lot of RDAs, unless they tell you specifically this RDA is made in Belgium or Germany or the United States, if they do not tell you that, it's made in China. Now, that being said, I think you can get a very good quality RDA from China. The problem is a lot of people go to Chinese companies and they want to make more profits. Sure. So, they tell the Chinese companies, like, I want an RDA made, at $5 or $8 per RDA. And, they're thinking, like, I'm going to sell this at $90. I'm going to make a lot of money. You know what I mean? So you get your $9 worth of RDA. That's what you get. So that's why some of the high-end stuff, when you take a look at it, it's just a basic 3 or 4 stainless steel cap, and it looks so plain on the inside. This looks like a clone. It's because they want it done cheap. I mean, these Chinese companies are going to they go for volume. They're going to ask you to commit to 1,000 units of RDA, for example. So if you want high quality materials, and if you want everything, and maybe it's going to cost you maybe $30 a pop for an RDA, that's $30,000 that you have to put out front. A lot of people don't want to do that, so they go for a lower cost. But if you really dig deeper, a lot of the high-end stuff are made in China, but they go for better quality material, better finishing.
Well,
exactly. You don't want to see roll marks on it when you just open the package.
I think
I mean,
also. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, man.
No. Go ahead. No, my thing is what the point I was trying to make earlier is it doesn't mean just because it costs. It's all in the build process. With a lot of them there was just so much hype behind that thing.
Sure.
It was unbelievable.
Well, I think another thing they do also, and
I
as
think
much
that's what made it so was like I also.
Damn RoboBill. Anyway,
I think.
Oh, go ahead, Steve. You've been.
I think one last thing is about hiding stuff, and I like sandblasted stuff, but that's a good way to hide any type of messed up machining or any type of flaws.
And gold plating does the same thing. Yeah.
But
I fucking hate gold plated decks. But anyway,
I don't like gold plated so much. I do like sandblasted or ceramic blasted or media blasted. I like all those, but that's a good way to hide your flaws in your product and sell it for more. I mean, it's something that they use as a tactic.
I kind of agree with Jay because it is kind of hard to, I don't know, for me to know that an RDA can be manufactured at such a low cost, and for someone to think just for charging the same as other high-end RDAs that makes it high-end.
I agree.
But what is high end? You know, what is high end?
Well, that's it is just a word. It's such a tough question to answer.
You want to know my opinion of what high end is? I think, not to cut everyone off, sorry, but I think if it's made by one person, they're making all the materials, they're making every single aspect of that RDA. And I know that's hard. You know, I know it's impossible sometimes to do that. But if you can say that you made it, and it's something like this, like the biochip, and I know I bring it up a lot, but I know for a fact he makes everything that has to do with it, and that's why it costs so much. But it's something that I consider true high end, you know? And I guess E-Smoke Guru, I mean, isn't that what it is? I would consider them, I guess.
That's you just probably gave the best definition of high end that there is out there. You're absolutely right. End. Because what makes it like, okay, when you're mass manufacturing something, that is not high end, period, point blank. I think that's the nutshell of it, right? If someone's not individually taking the time, it's not, even if it's a quality product and they charge a lot, that doesn't necessarily make it high end. That makes it expensive. That's the difference.
Sure.
Yeah, that was really good. You just blew my mind because that was the most simple way I've heard it put.
Absolutely.
No, because high end is just a term they throw out there to make you want it more. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah. If you take a high end RDA and you know that has never been released and nobody's seen pictures of it and there's no branding, no logo, whatever, you put it next to a cheaper RDA. I wouldn't say dirt cheap, you know, like maybe gas mods or whatever it is, and you ask someone which one is high end, they won't be able to tell you which one is high end. If you ask them which one is high quality, then yes, they can tell you, but that doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really match high end versus high quality. I've got some high end stuff that's poor quality, like bad quality, you know, and I've got some not high end stuff that's very good quality. So it's just a term they put out there. I can tell you for a fact that if you really go into the high-end collectors market and you ask them, they don't know what is high-end. They don't see what they're buying as high-end. For them, this is the price, the usual price for an RDA. And everything cheaper than that, like the China stuff, you know, even if it's good quality, for them it's just junk, right? So they have no definition of high-end. If they've always been only buying stuff on Facebook, etc., and never try any Chinese stuff to start with, they do not use high end the way we do.
Yeah, it's
See, I look at high end as something where the person oversees it, you know.
Yeah, I agree, and naturally, with the fact that there's only one person who designed it and is also overseeing the process of getting the the product completed, there's exclusivity because you're not mass manufacturing it. So there's less of them available. It's harder to get them. Jay in chat put the example of a Ferrari. And there are high-end high-end RDAs doesn't necessarily mean good vape. A lot of times they do, but there's high-end RDAs that suck as well. It's a lot. It's less of a dart throw than it is from buying a mass manufactured RDA, but there's still high-end RDAs that suck. Period.
That's true, 100%. Which is, I think, ties back to where GK was saying they don't want you reviewing their products, even if you say bad stuff, because I think, you can say bad stuff about Chinese RDAs, but they're just going to make a new one next month. Like, they don't really give a shit if it's bad or good, because they're going to make 4 more, and they might call it something else, or a different company under them's making their RDAs, and they'll make another one and another one, and it just keeps going on until they hit that gold.
And I think some of the high-end RDA people don't want you reviewing their product because you're going to reveal something that they don't want people knowing.
Sure, yeah. I think you just got to be careful when you're buying stuff not to get ripped off. But, I mean, hype goes into that too, Like, hype brings everything together and makes you buy something, or brings it to your attention like, oh, that must be great. And then you buy it, and it's really not. So...
Yeah, it's very hard to say a high end means just one thing. It means different things to different people.
Sure.
A lot of RDAs out there today, even if you call it high end or whatever it is, they are manufactured, mass produced. If there was one person, actually making the RDA, okay, with his own machine in his workshop, his own lathe in his own workshop, and starting with a chunk of stainless steel, 3 or 4 stainless steel, and drilling the hole, and and doing everything like that. It's going to cost so much money because it's going to involve so much of time, and the end result is, at least looks, nothing like the quality that you see out there in high-end RDAs. So if you really think about it, these RDAs are mass-produced in smaller batches. That's true.
Yeah.
They are still mass-produced. They're still made in a CNC machine, a high-quality CNC machine. And if you want to engage someone to make an RDA, a very precise RDA with a replaceable airflow and everything like that, you're not going to do it by yourself, in your own shop with your own machine, your own mill, manual mill. That's not going to happen. So if you want to go to a CNC shop and they're going to ask you for quantity, right? Maybe not 1,000, maybe 500 or 200. So that is still mass produced, if you ask me. I think the days of someone actually making an RDA from a chunk of steel, those days are long gone, and even if that person existed today, the stuff that he makes will look poor, will look bad quality compared to the stuff that is out of these CNC shops.
That's what I was trying to get at. Was it's going to be more what I like to call semi-mass produced, higher quality RDAs rather than small batch. Here, there's only 100 of them. That's it. Good luck finding them, because again, it's about the money too. You can make a lot more off the semi batch than you can off the 100 RDAs.
So, what are your favorite RDAs, whether it's high end or not?
One of you guys can go first. I'll go last.
My favorite right now is, I like the Prestige. It was considered high end. It gives really good flavor, but honestly, like I said, I keep going back to the basic 1.1. It's not high end by any means, but I'd have to say, for what it is, it's the best flavor for what it is. I'm really happy with the basic.
Hey guys, I'll go next. For me, the RDA I like the most. I have to look at which RDA I keep coming back to. You know what I mean? Everything seems like it's the best RDA when you try it out at first. It's like, man, this is the best RDA ever. But then you don't feel like using it anymore, for whatever reason. So the one that I keep coming back to is the basic 1.1 RDA. And for whatever reason, maybe it's the way I vape or the way I build stuff, I always get the best flavor from the basic RDA. And I've tested that in many different juices that I have. Like I said, subjective. It's maybe how I vape or the tightness of the airflow. I know a lot of people don't like it because they say it's too tight. For me, it's just perfect. I mean, I leave the airflow wide open. And it's just perfect vape for me. The basic 1.1 RDA. I think the build quality is very, very good for the price that you pay, and the caps, everything is really, really good. And there is some element of someone actually doing stuff with it. It's not just, it doesn't just arrive in a box and they just ship it out to you, right? I know the guys at Basic RDA, they actually hand polish their caps, and they take the caps and they actually polish it by hand using, I don't know, a drill, with a drill and toothpaste or something like that. But it looks really, really good. And so it's my best RDA ever. As for tanks, I like the Skyline RTA. Again, I feel like it's the best flavor that I can get from the Skyline compared to anything else I have out there. But that's also subjective because the Skyline has got, you can have 1,000 different configurations in there, different coil, different airflow insert. But these two, for me, are the ones that I tried. I loved it from day one, and I keep on loving it. Like when I get back to it, when it gets back into my rotation, I have the same experience over and over again. So those two.
For me, it's kind of hard. There's three lately that I've been using the most, but I use them all pretty equally. And that would be the Wicked. The basic 1.1 has been around the longest, though, that has stayed in my rotation the longest. And now I have the TI, and then the Jenna. Those three are the ones that I've been using the most, and that's kind of how I determine what's my favorite, because same as GK was kind of saying, those are what I grab for, and every time I get a new RDA, I get all excited, but some start getting pushed to the side slowly, and these other ones are the three I just named are the ones that I keep grabbing no matter what. So yeah.
For me, I mean, it's going to be some of the same as you guys said. Two of them, I mean, I got two basics sitting on two different mods right now. One's the titanium black one. The other one's the 1.1, both 1.1s. As GK said, no matter what juice I put in those, I feel like they all come out how I want them to taste. Now, the thing that I use every day, no matter what, is this setup, and I say it all the time, it's the biochip, and I mean, it's just something that never leaves my hand. It's something that's always on a mod, no matter what I'm doing. And for a tank, I don't use a lot of tanks, but the GT4, I think it's actually pretty good. It's not bad. It's really the only tank I have at the moment, so I can't compare it to anything else. But I don't know if you guys feel this way sometimes. There's certain juices that go well in other RDAs you don't use all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the Convergent, I feel like does well with a certain juice, and the Wicked goes well with another juice. So it's really a subjective thing, but the basic and the biochip are my two that if I quit reviewing and I quit buying stuff tomorrow, I'd be cool. I'd be done. I'd be all right with those.
So Brady M asked how none of us said the Haku Vina.
It was okay. It just wasn't my speed. I mean, it was good. I like it. I use it sometimes,
And I would kind of agree. I enjoy the Vina. It was a good RDA. It wasn't. To be honest, I'm kind of weird in the sense that I don't know. I like the vapor restrictive vape gives with more airflow than a normal restrictive vape would give, if that makes any sense at all. And I don't know, the Vena to me just didn't hit those notes for me, but vaping is extremely subjective. I'm actually surprised that Bill, you said the basic too, right?
Yes, sir.
Or that we all four had one of the same. That's surprising to me, because normally when I'm in a group of people and you ask that question, you might have one or two that have the same thing. So that says a lot about 5As for sure. But yeah, the Vena wasn't a bad RDA by any stretch. It's not something that I continue to keep grabbing all the time.
Yeah, I think you put it the best. That's true. Actually, to be honest, I watched your review, GK, of the basic, and that's why I went out and got it. And also, I watched your review on the Limo, and I went out and got that too. So those are two products I actually use a lot, and I find those to be very good products.
For a moment there, I thought no one actually watched my reviews, Yeah, but I think the guys at 5As are very good. Very, I like modders who have, some kind of humility. Like like they're not like gods. Because those guys who are like gods, you kind of feel, oppressed a little bit when you want to buy their stuff. It's like, and if they have some issue, and you can't get it fixed. And if you post the issue in their groups, you get bashed. Sure. As if there's no such thing, as if everything is fine. There's no such issue. So yeah, I like to nowadays review more people who I support. People who would appreciate that you took the time off. I mean, I have a company to run. You know what I mean? And I take some time off to review stuff. And sure, maybe you don't like it, maybe you don't agree 100%. But if you could at least acknowledge that, hey, this guy at least did something to talk about our product.
Yeah,
I would support people like that. I don't see a reason for me personally to spend my own money to review stuff that they would never appreciate, they would never share, they would pretend like it doesn't exist. Life's too short.
I agree. And yeah, Jay, Eric did mention the Jenna as one of his top. Me, myself, like I said earlier in the show, if I don't have one and I've never held it or tried it, I won't speak on it, because I think it's unfair for anybody to make comparisons or, to hype something up or put it down without ever trying it. I think that's unfair.
Well, you need to get one, Bill.
Well,
every time. So I gave up. I don't have time to sit on the channel. I'm on call, so I don't have time to sit on Facebook and look for lists.
Well, that's very reasonable. I mean, you want to do one more thing? I mean, what are your guys' favorite mods?
Oh,
sure.
See, that's hard for me. I got 3 favorites that I love.
Well, start it off then, Mr. Cooper.
All right. My absolute favorite that's always in my hand, my Taiji. I love this thing. I actually talked to Loon. I have another one coming. I am actually sending him out a Stabwood hybrid block. My second favorite has got to be my Geometric Designs 2.1. I love that mod. But, always go back to this Kronig box with the 1.1 on top of it. It is awesome. Love this mod.
Oh, he's going. He's chasing.
Uh-oh.
So, right now, what has been my favorite is... So I'll do 2 different ones. So the one that is not easily available is the Tiny from Box Mod Mafia. I have the Billy Club coming soon, like within a matter of a week, I think. But the Tiny, I absolutely love that thing.
That looks really nice. I finally got the second one.
And by the way, Bill, you can get I'll send you links. You don't need to be in a list for the Jenna, but I'll send you links. The mass marketed one that I'm loving right now is the top side. So, yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about the top side. So, I mean, that's, I think, a good one, especially being mass produced. I think that's a great pickup. Okay, I'll go next. Well, first and foremost, I mean, the Fu Chai is probably my favorite, to be honest.
Who in that fucking Fu Chai?
Nah, I'm just kidding. First would be this mod right here, the Lola mods, the 21700 Squonk. And I do like, this is probably one of my more favorite non-squonks is the US mods 21700 Stinger. And I'd say third is this 18350 right here. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't know. My third would probably be like, oh, yeah, the VT Inbox. That's probably my third favorite, to be honest. I use that thing almost every day.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
I just had to get one of those mods out there.
I've seen you racing for it.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting your favorite mod because that is a bit difficult for me, you know. Right. So this would be a kind of a surprise, but actually my favorite mod of all time is this one right here. SX Mini ML class. I was like, this thing has got a very nice weight to it, you know. I mean, nice size, very nice weight. I think this is the best SX Mini. Everything they made after this, in my opinion, is junk. But this is really, really good. It's just got nice power, nice size for me. And I also like this one, Vapor Shark DA60.
Oh, that's cool, man.
It's like so convenient, you know, to use. I have other mods, regulated mods, but surprisingly, when it comes to Squonk mods, I think about 95% of them are mechanical mods. So I have this one here. This is the Loctopus engraved mod, and it's actually silver and gold engraved. This thing is so beautiful. I mean, up close, it's like the engraving is so fine. It is so unique. I have a lot of engraved mods, but this one is really, really unique. I made the doors myself, the Juma doors and Juma buttons.
Wow.
And, but this is my favorite mod. I just love looking at it. And the only problem is hard to match with other RDAs and stuff. Yeah, you can. Yeah, those are my.
So, do you lean more towards mechanical or like regulated?
Looking at what I have, it looks like it's mostly mechanical. Yeah.
Sure. So I feel like the panel split because you and Mr. Cooper like your mechanicals, and I feel like Eric has really gravitated towards the regulated, and that's really where I stand too myself. So
even I took another step forward.
Yeah, I think for me though, it's because a lot of the REAs I use are small, you know. Sure. So when you have a mechanical mod, it's small as well. That kind of looks nice, you know what I mean? So I think that's how I ended up with a lot of mechanical mods. When it comes to Squonk mods, my non-Squonkers are mostly regulated. I don't use a regular Mac mod. I'm not a Mac mod user other than Mac Squonks.
So let me ask all of you guys this. Do you think that regulated not Squonk mods are ever going to be as well? I mean, I guess they are popular probably to the non-hobbyist, right? I mean, to someone who's not in it to collect. But I mean, do you think that squonking is going to stay this popular for a long time, or what?
I believe it's going to be a mix of both. I mean, honestly, the non-squonk, they're going to be the most mainstream. The squonking is more of a hobbyist thing. I think it's more for the collector, you know.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I think from what I can see, I think squonking, the whole squonking market is going downhill right now because it's kind of oversaturated, and I'll explain why. Maybe like, let's say maybe June 2018. Now, if you had a squonk mod, like this one, and you wanted to, you're done with it, you want to sell it, it would be so easy for you to sell it. You know what I mean? And there are hundreds of people dying to buy high-end skunk mods. But nowadays, there's just so much of options out there. You know, if you put something up for sale, no one's interested. You know, unless you really want to sell it for cheap. I noticed that it's a bit oversaturated for a skunk market right now. It's hard for people to stand out. Even the people who are doing well previously with their new products, they don't really do that well. So I think skunking has reached the peak, like maybe November or October last year, maybe even earlier than that. And we do still see a lot of skunk products coming out, but that's because they were in the pipeline. That's what I think.
Eric, what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie, I was talking with people in chat, so I have no fucking idea what you guys were talking about.
If the popularity of skunk mods, if they're going up or down.
That's a good question. I think kind of as long as people are still, I don't know. I think it's kind of in the middle, in my opinion. I don't think it's really going up, but I think people who got there are still staying there, if that makes sense. I know the first time someone showed me a squonker, I fell in love and have been squonking ever since. I use regulated non-squonkers with my RTAs, but other than that, I don't drip anymore at all. Zero. I'm about to again to review the Ardent, but other than that, yeah, I think it's kind of staying flat. I think there's already a market that's been created, so I think we'll still see stuff, but I don't think the mass manufacturers will be trying to push it as much.
I honestly think, because I've seen it already, I've seen a lot of the stuff that you'd consider extremely high-end selling for decent prices in the buy-sell trade threads, too. The funny part is, like, because I had just seen a Voyeur, which is a $700 mod all day, sold for $550, I think it was. So, I mean, some of them are starting to come down. Like we had talked about, what was it? The Narda or the Narca? I can't remember which one. That one's starting to go down, too. They were on the buy-sell trades for $150. And at one point, they were up over $300.
Well, I know one thing, and after, kind of using unregulated mods for like the last week or so, I feel like I'm going to move more into unregulated for a little bit. And I think I'm going to start doing, it's hard to review these though, because I feel like they're basically all the same thing. You know what I mean? Yes, they have different components. Yes, they have different, maybe 510s, different materials made up in them. But I kind of want to dive into this area of vaping for a little bit, into the mechanical area.
I think it's another route for you to branch off, maybe grow a little bit. I'm not just saying that because I'm a mechanical guy. I you know what? If I always tell people, you vape what you like. I'm not going to tell you how to vape, and I'm not going to tell you should vape like me. But I think for you, I think it would be growth for you if you started doing stuff besides regulated.
I think so. Yeah, and also maybe doing more tanks and stuff too. I got a couple on the way, but I've been a lot of
more pathways.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of filming the review. For this, and it's a Smock product, but for some reason, Smock has been sending me shit. I haven't been asking for it, but Smock's been sending me shit. So I'll review it as long as I'm getting free stuff out of it. I'll review it. Why not?
Team free shit. I'm just poking fun. I'm the same way right now. There's not enough. People don't send me a lot of stuff. So if you send it to me, I review it. So.
All right, guys. I have to get going soon. So I have a meeting to. But Yeah, you guys can proceed without me. But maybe if you have any last questions for me or anyone in the chat has some last questions to ask me, maybe I can answer them before I have to head out.
Well, I'll ask you one more question. If you guys want to ask a question first, I can go after you guys. Well, I don't know. I mean, what are your plans now then? I know we kind of discussed it a little bit. You said you were going to do more tutorials and stuff, right?
Yes. I love doing the DIY side of it, but there are not much views to that. So I'm still thinking of what I should do on. One thing though, I cannot review mainstream stuff because let's face it, man, there's so many reviews out there, and for example, like Mike Vapes or Vape and Vegan, these guys they get their products sometimes a month before I can even get one. By the time I actually get some of these products, they are, well, no one's interested anymore. I mean, there are a ton of reviews out there. So I'm really in a position where I really have to pick and choose what I want to do. And I don't want to spend time doing a review of a product that is 1 month old or 2 months old. I don't want to do that because I feel like it's a waste of my time. So I might just choose my own topics and do videos on those. I mean, there's lots of topics that you can talk about instead of just reviewing stuff that is basically the same. I mean, like this thing right here, the Mage RTA, right? Coil art. It's not a bad RTA. It's not a bad RTA, but just one look at it and look at the deck, and I feel like, oh man, I've seen this somewhere before. I've reviewed something like this before, So I don't want to keep, reviewing stuff based on what other people want me to do, but maybe choose my own topics. Yeah, I know my channel will never be a big time channel, but as long as I'm doing what I like.
Hey, I mean, you got a lot of subscribers, man. I mean, I consider you a big time reviewer myself. I mean, but someone in the chat asked GKRDA 2.0 when? Question mark.
Oh, I've thought about that. I really don't know. I think what I'll do is I will spend a lot of time in my head, and maybe when I learn some CAD software, to just design stuff and, design stuff that I think for me, if I'm going to design an RDA based on what's popular right now, by the time I actually get someone to manufacture it for me, it's going to be old news. So I'm looking at maybe designing something a little bit unique, and I'll just spend some time designing it, and I think it's the right time to do something about it. Maybe I might find some company to, launch it with me. I don't want to do like, the high-end groups to actually manufacture myself, ship it myself, pack it myself. I just don't have the time for that. I might look at some partnership with some companies. I don't know, but honestly, I really don't know what to design right now. So I don't think there's a 2.0 RDA. 1.0 sucked and never got So I don't want to create another one that sucked. I mean,
well, hey, that's why you got to call it the 1.5.
Cool. I'm trying to see. Doesn't look like a lot of people asked about the RDA. Yeah, I don't see. There was a lot of questions about the RDA, but other than that, everything else has been answered already. So, cool.
Well, I think we're gonna probably call it here now anyway. So, I do, appreciate having you on, Mr. GK. It's nice talking to you. Nice hearing your thoughts, some thoughts on high end and your thoughts on certain things. I think it's been insightful. And did you say this was your first live?
I want to throw wait. I want to throw one thing out that none of us mentioned. Am I coming through? All right. GK makes some bad ass pens.
Oh, I think he said that you make good good vape pens.
No,
No?
actual.
I'm not getting that audio right then.
He's talking about vape pens.
Oh, pens. Yeah. I just made them because I like to mix stuff. I made this one. It's a Juma pen, right? It's some leftover Juma material. Actually, I started doing the DIY. I'll tell you why I started doing DIYs, because I get high-end mods, and when I get it, it doesn't work. There's some problem that needs to be fixed, and I'm not going to ship it back to Europe or United States and spend another 1 month waiting for it. So I learned how to do a lot of the fixing of the mods myself. Right now I can solder my own mods. I can make doors, buttons out of stab wood or other materials, and that kind of led me to trying out other stuff. So I make some pens now, just for hobby. This one is really beautiful. It's a Juma pen, and it's a rollerball pen. And these I sell for between $30 to $120. It really depends. Yeah, maybe you can check out my website. I'll put my website there.
I mean, you just you wrapped other pens, or what is it?
Basically, these are pens that you can make with your lathe. I have a lathe machine. I have a few machines now. I just got it just for the sake of just testing out. I wanted to make my own drip tips, and I did. I did some Juma drip tips, and I will be making a few wood drip tips, like not. It could be stabilized wood. It could be regular wood as well, like coco bolo or black ash or bokoti or box elder drip tips, wood drip tips. I just do it for fun, and I put it out on my website, gkvapes.com. That'll be my pen site right there. Yeah, so I just do it for hobby. I love creating stuff. I love creating stuff more than making reviews, actually. So yeah, just testing out my skills. I do plan somewhere in the future to make my own mods, and I think I have the skills to do it. More of a high-end mod made of stabilized wood or other materials. I like working with wood. I find it very, very, very fulfilling. You take a block of wood and then it ends up something wow, like something so different, so beautiful. I actually right now can make my own mod from scratch. I just haven't got a design that I want to go with, and I just need to find someone to CNC them.
Well, I know on that topic, I've seen some of your soldering videos and stuff, like when you solder your DNA boards and stuff. So like I said earlier, I thought that's something you would continue to do. So I hope to see some more mods in the future.
Yeah, you guys can join my group as well on Facebook. That group, I made it specifically for, I sometimes help people to make mods, not my own designs, the DIY stuff, but I just take it to the next level by, making, replacing the buttons with stab wood buttons or doors and soldering everything for you. You can actually get a very nice regulated squonk mod that looks super high-end just from buying DIY stuff. Of course, there's a lot of work involved once you get the body. You can get it. You can get a Delrin body mod from Florist Box Mods, and then you have to assemble your 510. You got to put in your DNA75C, your contacts, etc. It's just a box. You buy a box. So in that group, I do help by making those things for people, and I can make them. I buy the parts, everything. $120, right? $120. A Delrin regulated DNA75C mod with stab wood doors, stab wood buttons. I just finished making 2 of those for some people in the group. Yeah, so those who may want to check it out, let me put the group. Yeah, you can
That was
join.
what I meant when I talked to you in chat, Gerald, a couple days ago, and that's what I said to you was when you're on the show, I'd see you Monday.
Oh, yeah, that's the group. Just a small group. It's just for making DIY stuff.
Well, I've always looked into do DIY mods, but I've always felt like I don't have the proper tools to make one because I've always wanted to make one, but I've never gotten into it yet.
So before we go, I just want to point out that like 6 weeks ago, Chris's vape style or freestyle vape reviews, he won a giveaway, and I'm supposed to send it to the UK, and Bill mailed me his portion of the prizes, but we're still waiting on one person to send me the stuff so that I can send out the package to the UK.
Yes, it'll be there by very soon. I promise. I apologize.
That was really specific.
Nah, I feel like a dick. I apologize.
It's okay. Chris has been really cool, and I'm gonna make sure to throw in something extra. But
yes, I have it packaged up. I just need to send it out. I apologize, but I'll add something extra in too. So.
And Bill already added something extra too. So
Yeah, I got your video, nothing.
I'll add some extra stuff, and it'll make it it won't make it right, but I'll make it a little bit better. So I apologize.
It's all good. All right. Anybody else doing sign outs?
Well, GK, this is where we usually do our sign outs. If you'd like to say something before you go, because we're all about to sign out.
What should I say?
Where they can, they know where they can find you, but where they can find you, what you're doing lately, what's going to be stuff like that. Something.
I'll just say what I say at the end of all my videos. Wokie dokie, no more smoky.
That's perfect, man. Wait,
with my Indian accent, of course. Wokie dokie, no more smoky.
Wait, was this your first live show?
No, I've done a live with Jay Hayes. That was last year, right? I really want to do more, but I don't get invited to any shows. And also, sometimes the timing is just not right for me. I mean, I think I can join some if they want me in there. I don't know. I don't
hey, you're always welcome here, man.
It's Inside the Minds #2 on Jay Hayes' channel. To see the
Inside
one.
the Minds.
Yep. Go ahead, Bill, before your internet stops.
Cooper's Vaping View. You know where I'm at. I ain't worried about my channel. The only thing I'm worried about is these two gentlemen. Steve, Eric, thank you. Always a pleasure to work with you guys. Gerald, it was great having you on the show. Thank you very much for coming on. I will definitely get one of those pens. 'Cause I work a lot with, I definitely write a lot. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome.
I'll hook you up with the best, man. The best one. I mean.
And thank you to everybody in the chat. You know, you're the reason we're here. So I'll pass it over to Eric.
So thankfully,
Go figure.
Thankfully, the power didn't go out. Next week, I'll be back at the shop, not here at my house with a black curtain behind me, and or a black sheet. That's a sheet. Anyway, appreciate everyone for coming. Appreciate all the support. In 6 months, we hit 1,200 subscribers on the Phoenix Vapor channel. So if you see, there's the link there if you haven't already done it. But everybody's got their links under them. If you want to go to subscribe to anybody's channel.
One more thing.
Oh, one more thing. Especially Steve's, man. He's real close to 1,000. Let's get him there. Let's do it.
Get me there.
That's a milestone that's important to a lot of people. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Let me say to I was going to say I write a lot because I work in the medical field. I'm absolutely charting.
I want to do a giveaway for a mod. Not right now, but I think I'll leave it up to Steve in his group to do the giveaway. Actually, I wanted to do this myself. I just didn't have time to do a giveaway. we're looking at this mod here, right? This is a squonk mod, mechanical squonk mod, hybrid, color changing. It goes from yellow in direct sunlight to a bit greenish. And I made this along with the other mods, but for whatever reason, this is the last one left. Nobody likes yellow. I don't know. And no one likes it. This is a view of the inside. It's a mechanical mod with an SPF 510. It's a hard-hitting mechanical mod. I probably should have told this earlier, but it just occurred to me that I wanted to give this away, and I didn't have the time for it. So maybe I'll leave it up to Steve to do a giveaway in his group. And
Steve's gonna do it. I won already.
It's up to you how you want to do the giveaway. It's going to be a randomizer or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, the last one left. It's pretty okay.
Maybe I'll just. You want to talk about it? You want me to do it? I'll do it in the future. I think, right? Maybe not.
Yeah. How about 1,000 subscribers? You give it away.
Yes. Yeah. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll do that, and I'll get a hold of you on Facebook, GK, and we'll talk about whatever it is we need to talk about to do it. But yeah, that's a good idea. As soon as I hit 1,000, I'll definitely do that. And I want to thank you, Mr. GK. That's very generous of you. And my sign out, I would say thank you for being here. I know you were on a short schedule and you stayed a little bit extra for us, so I do appreciate that. I know you're in the future right now, as it's Tuesday there, and it's 10:39 on Monday.
7:39.
But yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat. I do want to thank, Mr. Cooper for always being here, and congratulations to Eric for being over 1,000, and just for all the support for all of our channels. And if you're not subscribed to GK, definitely go subscribe to him. I'm sure that most of you are. He does great reviews and great everything. He does very good reviews on building tutorials, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you guys. It's been a good show, and see you next Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Welcome anytime, man.
All right. We're going at 7:40. Bye.